Monday 6:30 p.m. Eastern. A Healing Path with Reverend Robin Marie. Zizi Majid. Overcoming Grief and Loss. Special guests: Maria Galluzzo Day. Maria Galluzzo Day, recent widow from Boston's North Shore, speaks of multiple loss as her brother passed suddenly a few months after losing her husband, Willie Windwalker Gibson. Willie Windwalker Gibson is a Cherokee Irish shaman, paranormal investigator, author, and founder of Soul Warriors Supernatural, known for his decades of experience in shamanism, spiritual healing, and paranormal research. An all-access network television production.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Welcome to A Healing Path.
Yes. Welcome, everyone.
This is our second show, so we're still kind of getting used to being on All Access Network, and we're very proud to be part of their family of shows. So, Zizi, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome to you too, Robin.
Thank you. So this week we're going to be speaking about grief and loss. Loss of loved ones, loss of pets, loss of our spouse, our friends, brothers, sisters. It's all different types of grief.
Yes.
So Zizi would like to begin, of course, with our weekly exercise first.
Yes, I think we all might have had a busy, chaotic day, and to center ourselves and quieten the noise that is in our mind. Let us just sit quietly for a few seconds and take a deep breath in, inhale, and just hold it for 1, 2, 3, you can say. 1, 2, 3, and then exhale slowly and repeat that 3 to 5 times, whatever you want. And you'll see the difference it'll make. It'll just quieten you and center you and ready for this show. We want you to be ready for this show. So let's start. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, I think we should be ready. It's the topic, as Robin mentioned, is grief today. And we have 2 guests. I'm looking so forward to hearing what they have to say.
Yes, wonderful guests.
Did you want me to start, or how do you want?
Well, I wanted to ask you, how was your week since our last show?
Oh, my week. Yes.
How did that go?
How did it go? Busy as always. We our daily whatever responsibilities and challenges. But with that, my recently published book, I was supposed to have it here. I don't have it with me. A reflection of the healing heart, available on Amazon, guys. Please check it out and review if you read it. I'd appreciate that. And I've been working on promoting that. And then also...
So wonderful.
Should I say there's another in the works?
Oh, yes. We're ready.
Yeah, trying to do something, similar to that. So it seems I'm very blessed. I'm getting good reviews by friends and people who are reading it. And so I'm feeling good about that.
Mhm.
And, I work on my, I have my YouTube channel at The Healing Path. And I love going, the weather is nice. I love going to beautiful gardens, parks, wherever, by the water, and then, recording. And I've been doing that. Heals me, and it's so good for me.
Yes, yes.
And get ready for today. I think this is a blessing also. Thank you, Robin, for
This
pushing me
too.
to do this. I think you were the one who kind of
We have two wonderful guests.
yes.
Uh,
Looking forward to
both I have known for quite some time. Maria, I've known for most of my life that's coming on. And we share some grief, with people that we know who have passed away. But one we didn't, that I didn't get to know personally. And of course, Willie Windwalker GIBSON will be on. He's a very well-known shaman. He's been on all of the paranormal shows, and he's a paranormal researcher, and certainly does blessings and house cleansings and all sorts of types of mediums of healing.
healing.
Everything's related. Some Native American going towards their belief system, and some not. He works with people from all different walks of life.
So before we start, let me ask you, how was your week? What are you up to?
It was exciting. I needed more of that breath work, actually. I've been running around like with roller skates on.
I'll call you every morning to do that.
I know. I've been gone and it was only like 3 to 4 days. And I went with my associate, Leah Simpson, who did Reiki and everything for me. My company is able to see.me. So you can go on that website and take a look, able to see. And it's the number 2 and the letter C. And I like that it's .me. That really means a lot to me. I actually kind of fill up when I hear that, because it's all about healing and understanding who we are. And until we accept that, who we are, only then can we get in touch with our feelings, our emotions, and maybe make some changes in our own lives.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So
I was at the Royal Crown Plaza in Princeton, New Jersey. So it was absolutely beautiful. And I met some very, very interesting people. And hopefully I helped them in our healing sessions.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. So the healing journey is such that we have to really look within us, start with us, look within us. And no matter how painful it is, how much it hurts, and resolve that pain, that issue that is inside of us. And then once we are healed or healing, and we can help others, once we understand the process. And it's not, healing is not linear. It takes time, it takes effort, it is stages. And so
and everyone being different.
It's work.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. So
I think you were going to define what grief is.
Grief. So grief, we are speaking about grief. We are, touching on the topic of grief today, which is a topic that has to be talked about if we are speaking about healing, or if we are in the field of healing. So grief is an intense emotion, which is intense sorrow that one feels, when you're going through grieving, or you're grieving, or when going through grief. So mostly it is associated with death, because when you say grief or grieving, people just assume, but really it's any kind of traumatic loss. It could be a life-altering injury, it could be a chronic illness, it could be a job loss, a bad divorce, homelessness. I mean, a lot of things, a bad relationship, a broken relationship, So grief really means, you are going through something very intense sorrow, intense pain. And That's what it is. And again, it's not linear and it has its stages. And why don't you tell us what are the stages of grief?
Yes, I did want to mention that. And I'll read a few things here for you that I pulled out. This was actually the model that was developed by Dr. Kubler-Ross many decades ago. And I remember this even as a child that it was coming out. So as I said last week, I had a passion for psychology and all of this, terms within psychology. And so this goes way back to my childhood. But loss is shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance, and processing. It's actually coming in 7 stages. We, and I include myself, we who are experiencing grief will hit every single one of these stages. We will never skip one of these. They may come at different times. They may be out of different orders. One works for me, one works for you. We subconsciously do this, but we will fall into these particular stages. So shock is the initial, of course, that's the immediate reaction to loss. The second stage is denial, and that's a neutral coping mechanism that helps you pace your feelings. So this very natural thing that happens, I don't accept the fact that somebody has passed away. I simply don't accept that I've had this injury. I'll just dismiss it, and it never happened. So the next stage, and again, these don't always come in order. 3 is anger. And I find that to be very interesting within myself going through grief, because sometimes you actually become angry at the person that has passed away. Why did this happen? How could God let this happen? Or whoever your maker is, what brought it to that? And so it wears off after a while, and it may resurface again at some point. 4 is bargaining. And that's regaining a sense of control over the situation when you feel helpless. And this is a stage heavily marked by guilt, shame, and the what ifs. I always think, and we'll talk to Maria about this, my friend wanted to take a trip. What if I went on that trip? He wouldn't have passed away if I had made it on that trip. Right. What if someone had taken better care of their health? They never would have passed away. Right. But I'll tell you, there's only one way out of life, and it's the inevitable. The only way out is for us to pass. So at some point, whenever that is, it's bound to happen. So it doesn't matter if you took a trip or you did this or that. We have no control over it. None. So that is the bargaining. 5 is depression. And that's that deep, overwhelming sadness that sets in. And it's not like you cry over a movie. This is deep inside, that you don't want to get up, that you don't want to wake up, that you don't want to shower, you don't want to go on with your life. And so that's a very difficult place to be stuck in. And we all get to that. Some move on quicker. Some carry it for years. The next one, 6 is acceptance. That's when you begin to come to a realization that the terms are part of your reality, that it has happened. And so in that moment, we're able to start looking at healing and start looking at moving on. The second one is, the 7th, is actually processing. And that is reconstructing your life. How do things look without that person in my life, especially widows and widowers? How do I go the next day without that person? They're always there. Losing a child, they're so much a part of you. How do I continue on? So that's a big thing, is processing it as well. Yes. So all of those 7 things we will experience. And as Zizi mentioned, this can even be grieving over the loss of a job.
Yeah, anything. So many.
And the people that are associated with that, it's
I
So,
just want to add to this that, I have now a few friends and, people who've lost their husband, lost their child, so it is something tragic, of course, and life changing, life altering. But I urge people who are listening that if you have somebody going through such trauma, grief, for whatever reason, death is the one, and then there's, like we mentioned, all the other. Please support. They need your support
absolutely.
because they might not ask for it. They might not.
Chances are they won't.
Yeah, you have to. If you are close to that person, all you have to do is sometimes hold their hand. Sometimes maybe take them out for a cup of coffee, or just call them and say hello. How are you? It will make the world of a difference to them because like you said, when they've, especially by death or by injury or this or that, when you are in that place where you feel that you have now, you're by yourself, you can't do anything, and you can't, that person is not here, even if something's wrong. So that support is crucial at that time. And even by text, what I do, I have this thing, and if when I know, and I recently, a friend, and I think I mentioned last time, lost her son, so I write a text, a positive text to her every day, like something that'll lift her up. So that is what you can do. I think we're ready for our first guest, Robin.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So please bring Maria in.
So, yes, this is Maria Galluzzo Day, a
Hi.
very good friend of mine.
Nice to meet everyone.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So, Maria is from the Boston area, where I had originally grown up. And I had been very close friends. I consider family. He was like my pseudo husband, pseudo brother. I mean, he was just always there. Every day he was there and part of my family, as well as him letting me be part of his.
Yes.
So I remember Maria back in our early teens.
Yeah.
How
It's been a
lovely.
while.
Yeah, how beautiful she always was.
Thank you.
And is. But Maria, you've had a couple of things happen back to back.
hmm
So if you'd like, you can go ahead and share that with us.
Well, I was married to my husband for 40 years. He had some medical issues. And at the end, his body couldn't work anymore. So, but he passed away 2 days after Christmas on 2023, December 27th, 2023. Now, like you said, shock. That was the shock for me, because none of us were expecting it. And I didn't get to say goodbye because they just took him away in the ambulance. And when I got there, they had me wait, and they let me in, and he was gone already. So I never got to say goodbye, and never got to, to give him a last kiss or anything like that. So it was hard. It was very, very hard. Angry. Yes, I was angry at him. Why did you leave me? But the worst part was 5 months later when I lost my only sibling. And that was Peter. And you know Peter.
Yes, that was my Peter.
Yeah. He was supposed to be my rock after my husband passed away. And unfortunately, he's no longer with us. And I felt alone. I almost felt like I had no one around. I do have children, I do have grandchildren, but for some reason, they couldn't help me with my grief. as much as I loved them and they loved me and they tried, losing your husband after 40 years and then losing my brother after, you know, all those years. I mean, I was older than him. I was
I
6
know
when
he
he was
was young.
born.
Yeah.
I was 6 when he was born.
Mhm.
Granted, in the beginning, it was very hard for us because there was a 6-year difference. But as we grew older, we got closer and closer. And I
See,
don't
I
know.
was afraid of you as a teen because you were 6 years older than us. So I thought, oh, she's the big sister. We had to watch out.
Yeah. Well, I was probably worse than him. But losing and also losing my parents. And I did have a sister, and she passed away 3 days after she was born. So I'm like an orphan, you
It
know.
feels that way. I know. I
It
know.
it I feel lonely. It's been now, 2 years for Peter and almost 3 years, well, 2.5 years for my husband.
Mhm.
And it's slowly, I have to admit, it's slowly getting better, but there's times that you just, you're driving or you're sitting at home, you hear a song, you hear
Oh,
something, or
yeah.
you smell something, and boom, you just start bawling.
Mhm.
And it doesn't stop. You just keep on going. I've had a couple of dreams of them, and it made me feel closer to them, but
Zizi mentioned about reaching out to somebody,
So,
when you're going through that. So, certainly when I've had a dream or I've had some kind of sign, like recently at my birthday party, I
yeah.
was talking about Peter and he was very youthful. He seemed like he was still 30, 40 years old, but he was what, 64 or just turning 64.
He would have been
So,
64 the month after. Yeah.
right, right. And, we're at the same age.
Yeah.
And even though I say I'm 39-ish,
that's
I
okay.
did.
but he's very youthful.
He
So to
was.
see that pass, it just, you equate it with someone that's older, that's gone through life and everything. He was just so full of life. But I'm telling people about this at my birthday party because he's just always still part of my day and it
Yeah.
comes out. And our song came on. We used to disco dance and everything. We used to go to nightclubs dancing all the time. And I Will Survive came
Oh,
on.
yeah.
And I said, oh my God. I said, he's listening. He's listening. He's watching over us. He knew I was talking about him.
He does. Sometimes I talk to my husband because he was the jack of all trades, my husband. And sometimes if I'm having a hard time trying to put something together, I just pray to him. I said, Dawn, can you help me? I know I'm doing it wrong, but can you please help me? And he does.
Mhm.
And it's a good feeling knowing that he's listening and he's close by, you know. I wish I knew he was close by, but you want the physical, the physical body of him being close, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. It's just the spiritual body that is near.
Mhm.
His soul is with you. So
Mhm.
that is important also.
Yes.
He is there. If you feel he's there and you feel it, that. So I always say with healing that, if you feel like crying, if you are angry, if you're upset,
Let it go.
let it be.
Yeah.
You do it. Own all the emotions, good and bad. I mean, when you want to laugh, you think of times, you must have so many, 40 years is a long time, and so many good memories.
A
So,
lot of them.
lot
Yes.
of them, right. So at that time when you're down and you're feeling, just think of, oh my God, that time when we went for ice cream, or oh, that movie when we watched that movie together.
Yeah.
So when we dance together, whatever it is, I don't know, whatever that you guys love to do together.
Yeah,
And
there was a lot of things we did together.
yeah, so you're lucky. Some people are not that blessed. You're blessed. You're lucky that you have so many wonderful memories.
Yes, and we had 3 children together, and you know,
You have a beautiful family.
thank you. Thank you. I love them. I
Blessing,
mean,
blessing.
the 2 girls, his 2 girls that he had prior to us getting married. I mean, they've become my daughters. Basically, they've become my daughters because they don't have anybody. They don't have their dad and they don't have their mom. I'm the only one that they have left, as a parent. And I feel very, very close to them, and
And that
it
is
helps. It helps,
that itself is a blessing, because here children from another marriage, and yet they're so close to you that you feel like they're your own, and they feel like you're their own. So that's a
Yes.
blessing. So you have so many blessings. So that's
It
such a good
helps.
thing.
It helps. The blessings help.
Of
The
course,
loneliness, not so much.
not so much. Yes,
I
yes.
know.
That unfortunately, at some point in life, Robin already said that we all have to face this. I mean, it's inevitable.
Hmm.
We cannot escape it. No one can. No one.
No,
No amount
no,
of money, no amount of power. I say nothing. No amount of
nothing,
knowledge,
nothing, you
nothing.
know.
Yeah.
And
So it's though we know that it's going to happen, yet when it happens, it's very hard,
yeah,
because these are 2 people. There's a person that you loved, you knew, you had such a great life with for such a long time. So whatever you feel, honestly, I would say is normal. Feel it, because the more you feel it, the more it will come out of your system, because right now a lot of it is in there. Let it all come out. Let it. And as then your soul will lighten as it kind of you pour it out of your
yes,
system, out of your soul. Soul will feel light and good, and healing will start. And there's no timeline to that. So just keep, and reach out to friends. You have a good friend. Like, children are different. You're right. Children are children, but a good friend is different.
yes. I do have a lot of friends, and a lot that that have lost also their husband. Um, and when we get together, we talk, and I think we find comfort in each other just by talking about our husbands, and how we're managing the grief, and but it does help. I'd rather talk to someone that's going through the same thing as I am versus a
Yes,
therapist or anything like that.
I agree on that. I
Great
really
Yeah.
do.
attitude. Great
Mhm.
attitude. I love that. I
Mhm.
love that.
Yeah.
Yes. Talk.
And and also ex- I'm busy.
So there are groups that you can join for grieving. And
Also.
sometimes that works for people that it's in a group like that where others are sharing. Some
Yeah.
like individual therapy, some like
Listen to other
group.
stories and know that there are others going through the same,
Yeah, yeah. I
similar,
mean,
not the same.
she knew that her husband was eventually going to pass away. With me, it was like 1 minute he's there, the next minute he's gone. There was no conversation, there was no sadness, there was no nothing. It was just boom, gone. And that hurts a lot. The same thing with Peter. Peter, I got a call in the middle of the night saying that he didn't make it. And I'm saying, what do you mean he didn't make it?
You didn't
Since
know.
I didn't know. I didn't know that there wasn't anything going on. And so 2 shocks, two complete shocks. And
Yeah.
but they seemed good. You talked to them, and
I talked to Peter about maybe 2 weeks before, and we were going to get together on a Friday night.
Oh, he was right.
You know, and we were all set to do that. And he got busy and with work and whatnot. And
yeah.
And that's, I mentioned about that, the bargaining part of it. I did think in the moment, if we had only gotten together, if we had gotten to talk that one more time, if I had gotten down to Florida to meet him, if I, just many things play back in your head. And of course, you get a grip on that after a while. It gets old. You get tired within yourself of playing it over and over again.
Yeah.
You can't change anything.
No, you can't.
Made a difference. Nothing.
Nothing.
When it's your time, it's your time.
Right. It is. That's
Maria,
that's
there's
the way.
quickly one more thing. So, whatever comfort this gives you, that, sometimes these prolonged illnesses are more painful than that quick 1 minute, because now this person, whether a spouse or child, is going through hell, and so are you.
Yes, that is true.
Suffering, really suffering. And, I don't know which is better, but I just feel, I don't know, if it just happens, at least the person didn't suffer, and then you didn't go through
The
whatever
suffering.
it is that you go through every day from morning to night. You see this person you love, they can't do this, they're not themselves, they don't, it's very painful. So I don't know if this provides any comfort, but that's the flip side, that sometimes
I think it's better for the person who passes away.
of course.
Yeah.
because-
Well, yeah. You did not want, him to suffer. Neither one of them.
Hi.
Okay, well, Maria, I want to thank you so much, my love. It
You're
means
welcome.
so much to us to have you on. And again, my heart goes out to you for the pain that
Thank
you've
you.
had to carry. I share it with you.
I know you do.
I keep the plant that came from Peter's funeral, and I keep his pictures there, and I talk to him at night. Every night before I go to bed, I talk to him, and continue looking for those signs.
Thank
I
you,
will.
Maria. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that's something. Next up, and thank goodness he made it.
I'm here.
Willie Windwalker GIBSON, right here with us.
Can you hear me?
Native American shaman.
We can hear
Yes, we hear you just fine. So welcome, Willie.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so and this is my co-host with me is Zizi.
Hi,
Majid.
Zizi.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm
Nice to
looking
meet you
forward-
too.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Looking forward to getting to know you.
Well, I'm here.
Yeah.
You're a memorable guy. I've known you for about 20 years now.
Oh yeah,
We
at
go
least.
way back. And I had another podcast on the BBC, and Willie was one of my first guests back in the day. And he was just wonderful. My son produced the show, like Gwen does here at the network. And Willie was just very good to my son and helped him with his totems and all of that within, the Native American culture. It was very interesting to learn about that. But unfortunately, Willie, I know that over the years I've known you, that you always was dealing with a wife who had many illnesses and
Yes. Mhm.
dealing with it on a daily basis and at a distance where, we live in different states.
Yeah.
And, we do go to the same shows and things, the conferences. But I admired him as a husband, that he always stood by her, always, no matter how bad it was. So, Willie, you want to tell us a little bit about what's happened lately?
Well, Shaman was sick a lot. Shaman's my wife. And over the past 10 years, it was one thing or another. And she would contract this and contract that. She had lupus. She had diabetes. She had back problems from different wrecks we had. I mean, she had her back broke 4 times.
Oh
And
my gosh.
all these stays and rehab and everything, I stayed with her. She did not want me to leave her side. So, when she was in rehab, I was in rehab. I packed my clothes up and I sat by her bed and day in and day out. And by God, when we had COVID, we were in rehab. She got paralyzed and she had to have surgery on her back. Well, she had to go to rehab, and I sat right there with her for 2 months. Didn't leave her because it was COVID outside. They wouldn't let me leave her and come back. So I
Mhm.
was quarantined and rehabbed at the same time. So I lived there for 2 months. So we got her out, and everything was okay for a little while. And then we've started having problems with her legs. And one leg got to where it had to be amputated. And then a year
Oh,
later,
so sorry.
the next year, the other
Mhm.
leg had to be amputated. So she was a double amputee. She was here at the house. I was taking care of her. And I
Mhm.
had nurses coming in and out, and we were rehabbing here. I had to rehab people come this to the house, and I was doing that back and forth. And then the places on her, I mean, she had skin lupus too, and her skin was getting really, really thin, and she started breaking open with sores and things. And I had wound care come in, and we were doing wound care and all this kind of stuff. And as we were doing that, I mean, I don't want to be graphic, but she was dissolving right in front of me. And I was taking care of her the best I can. And so January the 15th, uh, I had already called hospice in, and they had came and left. And she was in the bed, and I was beside of her, and she was breathing heavily, you know, and I looked at her, and the reason she stayed so long, uh, Robin and Zizi, she didn't want to leave me. Her soul was so strong, although her body was failing, she did not want to leave me.
Mhm.
And so I was sitting beside her bed, and I said, "Honey, I'm here." And she was breathing heavy, and all of a sudden she stopped. I reached down and grabbed her and pulled her up to my chest. And as I brought her up to my chest, she took one last breath, and she tilted her head, and she was gone. I could feel her leave. It was just like pouring
Mhm.
something out of a bottle. You could feel it go. And the kids were outside the room. They had came and spent the day with us, and they kind of knew. They wanted to spend the last part. So I hollered out, your mother's gone. And then her youngest son, he said, I'll make the phone call. So when you're with hospice and they take over, so when it's over, you call and they take over. I mean, they walk in, we got this. They, you know, we did the paperwork and they did the death certificate, and then they called the mortuary and they came and got her. And when they came in, he said, Mr. Gibson, now we're going to do this and this and this. Go ahead and do it. You want to give her a final kiss before we take her? I did, and they took her out. So the next day, um, I get the phone call from the mortuary, Mr. Gibson. We'd like to start proceedings. Okay, go ahead and do what you have to do. So I sat there a minute, and then I heard her voice. She said, Willie, go get my wedding dress. She always told me she wanted to be buried in her wedding dress.
Mhm.
Willie, get the wedding dress. And I already knew that one of her daughters had bought the dress for her to be buried in. Get the wedding dress, get the wedding dress, get the wedding dress. Lights started going off on and off in the house. Okay. She was a
Interesting.
she was a powerful psychic. She was very strong. I've got more stories that I will tell you in a minute. Will make you amazed. So I went into the bedroom and I knew where the wedding dress was. She had it in a bag. I pulled it out, went in, sat down, and I took the wedding dress out, and some papers fell out.
Mm.
Well, my wife liked to doodle. I figured she just put some stuff, a little of her drawings, and to be buried with. So I took them out and I was looking at them, and each piece of paper had our names on them. Had my name on one, her kid's name was each on one, and her grandkids. I
Wow.
opened, get this, I opened the paper with my name on it. It said, Dear Willie, when you read this, I will be gone. I
Wow.
love, you've been my husband so many years, and I was proud of you, and just know I'll always be with you. And it got a little bit more uh, personal, and I'm going to stop right there. And basically, each of the messages were to the kids about the same. Okay, I got it, baby. I got your wedding dress, but honey, I lifted it up. I said, honey, this is your wedding dress, and it was kind of low cut. I said, honey, I'm not going to. I'm not going. I'm not going to bury you in your wedding dress. I'll put it with you. And the car alarm went off. Beep, beep, beep. Okay, you got the message. Okay, so I went on ahead and put the wedding dress back, and I kept my message, and I gave the kids each of theirs. Okay.
How wonderful she left those behind.
Oh, I went to the funeral home to make arrangements. Okay, I was making the arrangements and what the cast is going to be and all this kind of stuff. I said, now she wanted to be buried in her wedding dress, but we have a dress for her to put on. Is there any way I can just put this somewhere around the casket? Mr. Gibson, we can hang it next to the casket.
Mm.
Okay. Okay, we had that was fine. I went the next day and everything. She was pretty, laid out really pretty, and she had her new dress on, and I had her jewelry on like she's supposed to. She wanted to be buried with her jewelry, and I made sure their jewelry was on. I took my wedding ring off. She had a chain around her neck. I put the wedding band on the chain around her neck. I said, I won't be needing this anymore. I want you to have it. Take it with you. Okay. Well, I sat down and we had the service. Bishop Long did the service beautifully. He actually gave her last rites in the hospital. He did. I said, "Would you?" He said, "I'll be there." He did the officiating. Now, this is what this man did for her. Shaman loved to sing, and she wrote songs, and he recorded some of her songs. She sang them for him. He took those songs, put them to music with an AI thing. You thought those songs were made in Nashville. They were beautiful. He copyrighted 4 of them,
Mm-hmm.
paid for them out of his own pocket. He played her songs at her funeral.
Oh my.
She was singing. Okay. After the funeral was over, I got up and the funeral director come beside me. He said, Mr. Gibson, what do you want to do with the dress? Watch this. I took the dress off the hanger. I laid it on her and I spread it out, and it looked like she was wearing her wedding dress.
Oh.
Okay. And he said, okay, Mr. Gibson, that was beautiful. He said, Mr. Gibson, would you like to close the casket? And I said, could I? He said, yeah, you can do that. So I gave her a kiss goodbye, and I closed the casket, locked it. I followed her out to the hearse, put her in there, took her to the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
We did the ceremony there for we couldn't go to the graveside. They let us use another chapel, so I actually had 2 funerals. So we did another service in the chapel, took her out of the chapel, took her down the road to the burial site. I stood there and watched them lower her in the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and I took a deep breath and I turned around and walked away. And that was the funeral. Okay, well, I had to have a memorial done. So I went back to the funeral home and said, I need to get a memorial done. So I sit there and I was designing it with the lady at the funeral home on a computer and say, what did she like to? I said, she loved to sing. Okay. I got the thing done and I had notes put all over her marker, musical notes. And this is the truth, ladies. As I was designing this with this lady in her office in the funeral home, the lights were going on and off in her office.
Well, she was very spiritual, as you were
Yeah,
sharing with us.
she was okay in it. She said, "I love it," So I said, "That's what we're going to do, honey." Okay. I could feel a sense of peace. You know how they call it chills.
Mm.
You get those chills.
Yeah.
Okay, honey, we got this. So I went on ahead and got all that done. And going back home, I went back to my house, and we had an apartment. I lived by myself, and the noise, silence was deafening. I mean, you know, you're used to her hollering, her hollering at me, Willie, come here, you know, and it wasn't there no more. Okay. Well, Robin, you know what my background is with going and clearing things out and dealing with supernatural things and all
Yeah.
that. Well, things were starting to come to me that was negative in my thoughts and stuff. And I could hear her say, Willie, Willie. And I screamed it. I said, you're not her. She's in heaven watching over me. You're not her. Get the heck out of my house. It stopped. And I told the bishop that. He said, good thing. He had already come and cleaned up, did a blessing on the house earlier anyway. So it was the just the deafness. I mean, there's no noise or anything. This is like a tomb. Phone didn't ring, from her side of the family kind of walked off, and I don't hear from them no more. It was my brothers and sisters called me, want to know how I was. Other friends call me, hey, Willie, you're okay. Even the funeral home called me, Mr. Gibson, are you doing okay? Well, hospice sent a couple of counselors over and talked to me a few times. That was fine. But the main thing that's been helping me is I've been talking to other friends. You know how I am. I was kind of off the path for a while, Robin and Zita. And
do you feel that you experienced like a depression?
Well, it wasn't exactly depression. It was just loneliness. I wasn't used to being free. For 38 years, her and me were together, and she's not here no more. Now I watched her get sick, and I stood by her 100%. Didn't leave her at all, and there was nothing to do. So what I did, I got back and got in touch with all my friends from the past, and they kind of stayed in the background. They knew where I was going through, and they didn't bother me anything. But here they come. They were there. I got the phone calls, and I talked to them every day. And a few friends that lost their husbands call me. So one just lost one, and I'm kind of guiding her what to do. And the other one had lost hers 5 years ago, and she's telling me what she went through and what I was going through, and it was the same thing. She said, this is how you do this. This is how you handle this. And so far, it's been doing good. I've been, I was kind of, I've lost 60 pounds during all this. I mean,
you look thin to me.
I lost altogether 120.
It had to be
120. I'm 126 pounds lighter.
My goodness.
So, I did this, and she keeps telling me, Willie, go forward, get back into what you're getting into. People need you. So it'll be 6 months next month. Our 38th wedding anniversary would have been the 5th of July. So I'll go and put flowers on the grave and all that and celebrate with her that way. But she said, go forward, don't go back. You got things to do. And Robin, I have gotten so many offers coming to me now to get back into the swing of things.
Yes,
I got an offer from a metaphysical store to come in and do things there and do events. I've got media offers. I've even had a film company said, we're going to be coming to Louisville next year.
Good.
And we got a part in mind for you. I said, I have never been. He said, it's nothing to it. He said, they said, we think you'd be good for this part. I said, whatever. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm just going to look for today.
Just go with it. This is it's shifting you into another direction.
Yeah.
One day at a time. One day.
Yeah. Like tonight, this is the second show I've been on in 2 weeks. Bishop Long wants me to be on Friday night with him. I'm going to be on with him.
Yes, I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just going to do things. It's an offer to me. If I got time for it, I'll do it. But I'm building my life, Now, since my wife passed away, I was by myself for 2.5 months. My brother needed a place to stay. I said, "How you want to be roommates?" Yeah. Well, he's moved in with me now.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. We talk about old times, and remember when Dad did this and Mom did this to us. And you remember when we eat loose? I said, let's fix that. We haven't had it in years. We'd cook, like what our parents would and Shaman's favorite dishes, we do that. And I say, I'm having your favorite
That's
dish, honey.
nice.
I talk to her every day, and we're talking back and forth
Yes,
between,
remember the happy times and the
we're
happy
talking,
memories.
and I'm not depressed. I'm getting happier. I've relieved that she's at peace, and when you see something that it was like a horror show, just watching it, and I had to deal with,
Yeah,
you know,
long
yeah,
time she was sick.
and to have your wife die in your arms like she wanted me to. She said, "Would you be
Mhm.
here with me when I was over there with her? I grabbed her up and I was holding her when she passed. I could feel it. Not many people, I don't think, can say that, and I had a sense of peace then. And then, like I said, we're going on 6 months here next month, and I gave it. I told you, I said, I'm gonna give it 6 months, honey, and then I'm gonna go full force on this. I'm gonna give you 6 months. I'm gonna do my grieving, and then I'll say, this is it. I'm going forward, and that's what I'm gonna do, and that's why I'm here tonight.
This is acceptance. This is the
Yes,
state of acceptance. Yes.
yes, yes,
Accepted. And also, I want to say that you're blessed and lucky that you have your brother, because
yes.
loneliness is one of the biggest things
Oh
after
yeah.
you
I
lose
mean,
a spouse.
you have nobody. It's just like being in a tomb, and you can to the point where you can actually hear your own heartbeat. I
Mhm.
said, well, hey, I got to get up and make some noise. I turn the TV on, and I'll go in there and start doing things in the kitchen, or it's something I have to do. And people don't realize the part where you've got to go through things and go through your wife's clothes or your husband's clothes, and you've got to put them in a bag, and you got to put them in a box, and then you got to give them to somebody else, and you're watching that part of them
Yeah.
gone. But what I've done, Robin, I think, and I've talked to other people about this. Uh, I kept a few. I gave a lot of her things away, but I kept things like her hairbrush, her glasses, her writings, and another thing about her writings, Robin. I found her journals. And I opened up one.
Oh, how wonderful you have those.
I opened it up, Robin. This is the truth.
Mhm.
The woman had the date, the exact date I was going to be sitting in the funeral home doing her preparations. The
Interesting.
date,
She was so intuitive.
yes. And she left messages for me and books for me. No, no, Willie, this is going to happen. My kids are going to fall away from you, and that's
She saw
okay.
it all coming, you
They're,
know.
they're going to fall away from you, and that's okay.
Mhm.
You've done your best with them. You did right by me. She wrote this down. You go forward
Mhm.
and live life, because I will be watching, and she's watching, and she was like that,
Well,
Robin.
we
I mean,
we wish you the very best of luck, Willie.
yeah.
And it's good to hear from you. And I hope I get to see you out at some of the conferences again.
I plan on being out.
Yeah.
I plan on being out, ladies. Thank you for having me on tonight.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you
We're
for
gonna
being.
be wrapping up soon. So
Yeah.
Okay,
unfortunately,
Thank
we
you
have
so
to
much.
end here. But
okay,
stay in touch and let us know
I
how you're
will.
doing,
Take
please.
care of yourself. Take care of
Thank you, ladies. Thank you for having me on.
yourself. Good to have you on.
Okay.
Okay, okay. Good
Good
night.
night. Before we go, Zizi, it is kind of at the late hour, but I just wanted to say that I'd like to dedicate this show from both of us to Vinny. Vinny of the Mini Vinny Show was actually on the All Access Network television network. So I know there's a lot of people that are really missing him. I'm not even sure what is going to happen with the show. With the JD was his co-host, and I hope they continue on with the show even without him. Or maybe develop into something else. But that was a very sudden thing, and he was a beautiful, beautiful soul, and I'm very happy I got to meet him.
Yes, you should. I think it's a good thing to do. Yes.
Mhm, mhm.
And before we wrap up, I think we want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you so much. We'll try to talk about topics that we feel are important in healing and loss and things like that. And if there is anything you guys want, please reach out to us through the channel, through our emails, Facebook, and so we can prepare ourselves, and we can, because we want to bring in on guests, and we would love to do that. Anything that you want information on. And Robin, we have another topic that we are going to be.
Yes, what do we have next week coming up?
Next week, I think we want to do illness, and we spoke about loss today, but how that loss happens mostly is through illness or injury or whatever. So we'll talk about that. And I
Yes.
think we do have a guest or two, I think, for
Yes,
that.
I do hope that we'll be able to have Marie Sullivan on. She is with the Women's Club of Paramus, and she is the new president. She had been president in prior years, but she's coming back as
Such a
president
lovely
again.
person. Such a
But
lovely-
she experienced lung cancer quite unexpectedly just a year ago, and had to go through emergency surgery and the healing and chemo and everything. It was just terrible, devastating. And she's fairly young. These are not elderly, decrepit people that we're talking about, that we expect to be on their way out in life. They're very much a part of life and very live and vivacious. So very, very difficult.
He's such a strong, beautiful person.
Yes,
so
and she
lucky that I know
helped
her.
everybody. And you know what? She didn't tell anybody at the time, except her immediate family knew. But we didn't even know in the club what was happening.
Yeah.
So very strong person that
Very
way.
strong person, and it's such a difficult time for people that I think it's hard, anyways. And so if you involve too many people, it becomes harder, I think. So
Very much
but
so.
we're so lucky to have her with us, to have that she's okay.
Yes,
And
yes.
and I'm so looking forward to her being on the show
Very much so.
next week. Yeah.
A lot of families go through dealing with cancer, different types of cancer
Right.
and everything. So that's a very common
Good,
thing
yeah, good,
for us
yes.
to speak about. I almost died 3 years ago from COVID and was hospitalized for quite some time and lost a whole year out of my life. So I'm going to mention about that as well. And of course, tens of thousands of people had to deal with COVID. So, we'll bring up that and your things as well that you're dealing with.
That I have, traumatic brain injury, and then Alzheimer's, and
Yes, yes.
it's difficult. But these are things that I think, these are illnesses that are, and that a lot of people are today dealing with, and younger and younger, like you said,
Very young.
younger and younger people are getting all these illnesses. So we'll talk about all that, and we look forward to that. We thank you for being here. Robin, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I want you to know that this is, I think, a blessing for me, and I love being on the program, and this is my kind of field, healing and talking. And since I'm, have illnesses at home and dealing with it every day, it's just good to hear and be a part of this program.
Yes,
and
always a friend. Yeah.
And we want you to know that this is, because I'm asked all the time, but this is a weekly thing every Monday, 6:30 to 7:30, so that you have your, clocks set, you have your timers set, you have your whatever. So every Monday, unless there is a change, we will make an announcement. But till we do that, Mondays, 6:30 to 7:30 on.
Yes, that's Eastern time.
Yes, Eastern Standard Time. Yes. And we'd love to see you again. Thank you so much. Thank you to All Access Network for having us. And thank you, Robin. Looking forward to
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
Have a good week. We'll see you next Monday.
Yes, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.